You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
So excited to get started here today on our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. This is where we answer your questions each and every Saturday and Sunday on the Cabral HouseCalls. If you would like your question answered, you can write in at stephencabral.com/askcabral. We are currently answering questions from February. The first today's is coming in from February 15th, and it's now about May 12th or so. So that's February, March, April, May. We're about somewhere between 10 weeks to 12 weeks to get into your questions. So we have a backup. We have another way. I'm always happy to answer your questions, and I will continue to answer our Cabral House Call questions forever, right? Going forward forever. There will be an Ask Cabral. But if you would like questions to your answers essentially the same day, almost the same day, go to cabralsupportgroup.com. That is our free Facebook group, and we answer questions, my health coaches and I answer them as well, right inside that group. If you have a question about what lab to run that you think is best for you, if you have a question on nutritional supplement, or you need support from the community, or whatever it might be, feel free, go right there, cabralsupportgroup.com. Or let's say you have a private matter, you don't want to ask it in the group. Just email support@stephencabral.com, and we'd be happy to answer that question for you Monday through Friday, basically between 8 and 5. We'll answer those questions for you. We're happy to do it. That's part of our mission. The other thing I can say is make sure that if you have a customer support question, when will my order arrive? I put in the wrong shipping address, whatever it might be, right? That's just the same exact thing. Email, right? Email support@stephencabral.com, support@drcabraldetox.com, support@equilibriumnutrition.com. Basically, you need support, email us. We'll get you the information. There's no doubt about that. The Ask Cabral are for people who personally want my answer. I'm happy to do that. But again, I don't look at the questions because they're in order. So if you have a customer support question or you need a question that day answered, this is not the place to do it. And it does say that on that page, but I know that we're all in a rush sometimes and we don't always look over all the information. So what I want to do is I want to keep moving forward with these questions, and I will do so. Maybe I'll give a little shorter answer. And the reason I want to do that is I don't want people to wait 10 weeks for me to answer their question, right? So I'm going to do my best. I'll try to be concise. You know that's not my strong suit, but I'll do my best. All right, first question's from Tom. He writes in, Dr. Cabral, I'm contacting you today for help with gastritis. I heard you on Justin Stenstrom's Elite Man podcast and talked briefly with Justin about contacting you. I've been on and off medication for almost a year, have kept refining my diet, meditate regularly, currently trying acupuncture, anything I can do to try to get rid of this, but I just cannot seem to kick it. I'm willing to do anything to get rid of it for good. Let me know if you can help. Thank you for your time. Okay. Tom, we work with gastritis all the time. Here's the big thing. Literally, we can fix this. We ask, is it a hiatal hernia? Do you have H. pylori, which is an infection essentially in the gut, in the stomach, okay? We're looking at why you might have any type of inflammation, acid reflux. Is there something like Clostridium difficile? Do you have slow gut motility where the food stays in your stomach longer, starts to ferment, and then causes the acid reflux, the burping? Do you have a lot of stress in your life? Higher cortisol levels, higher norepinephrine, where that muscle called the lower esophageal sphincter at the bottom of your esophagus is not staying closed, right? Causing some of the GERD or acid reflux or any type of gastritis. So there's always an answer, always an answer, always. So what we would do is we just say, well, we need to be able to help you. And the way that we help people in my practice, the easiest way to do that is to just even get started with one lab test. That's it. Now, if you can do more, you'll have more data, which means we can help you to an even greater degree. But that's the best way to get started. So what I recommend doing for you specifically is running an organic acids test and a stool test. The stool test is the best way. It's a 3-day test, and it looks for H. pylori. It would also look for other types of bacteria, such as Klebsiella bacterial overgrowth. It looks for parasites. Parasites, I don't think is your issue, but it's possible. And it looks for things like E. coli overgrowth, et cetera, et cetera. So the organic acids test, I'd be looking for you, and then the stool test. And then if we could do one more, it would be the adrenal stress test, okay? The adrenal hormone test. That's my answer for you, Tom, and that's how we would get you started. That's how we would begin to help you in my practice. I will link up all of those lab tests today at stephencabral.com/827. Any links you're looking for today, just go to stephencabral.com/827. All right, I think that was pretty concise. Let's move on to Valerie. Valerie's asking, hello, Dr. Cabral. I have adrenal fatigue and astopinia. I like my wine a little too much. I tend to drink about a bottle on my 2 days off. I wonder if you could do a podcast on drinking and how your body processes it and in general and what effects it has on one's health. I really enjoy your podcast. So much great information. All right. So Valerie, thank you for the question. Okay. So first thing is Valerie, I know that we can't write back and forth right now, but you can always ask this in the cabralsupportgroup.com. By astopinia, I'm assuming this meant, and it was just a typo because our phones do all those types of things, that you meant osteopenia. But again, I could be wrong. If it's astopinia, it's just new to me. ASTOPINIA. Again, like maybe that could obviously be on my end that I just don't know what that is, but I'm always happy to help. And you can write that in the Cabral support group and we'll help you right there. So the adrenal fatigue and all of that. So here's the deal. I have done a podcast on alcohol. So you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcasts and just type in the keyword alcohol. You'll see that alcohol is not that great thing that we can use in moderation that's going to help us improve our cholesterol, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It is one of those things that actually slows the detoxification process so that your body cannot rebuild and it cannot regenerate in the same way. And alcohol takes a tremendous amount of minerals from our body in order to, as they say, realkalize the blood so we maintain a proper pH. But it also draws calcium, magnesium, and all of those things from our bones. So if you're dealing with osteoporosis and you want to overcome adrenal fatigue, well, here's the thing. You need your calcium right where it is in your bones, right? And you need all of those other minerals that goes in there as well, such as the silica and the magnesium and everything else that's in the bones. Okay. But the other thing too is if you're dealing with adrenal fatigue, when you drink alcohol, you are not going to get into a deep, regenerative, restorative sleep. So my suggestion is typically the same. I like people to follow our 21-day regimen, which you can do during the 21-day Dr. Ball detox. You can do during our, any one of our plans that we give you. So like literally, if you run any lab, you'll get our 21-day protocol. Then we start to ease you back into everyday life. And then for you, I would say, okay, well, enjoy your wine, but let's do it once a week until we get you completely better. And then when you're completely better, you might be able to go to 2 days a week. And then we might say, but do you really need a whole bottle of wine for every day off? Like, can you get the same enjoyment from 1 or 2 glasses? And then maybe it's just in the company of others or whatever it might be. But that's something to think about. But, really, if you're someone that loves wine, what I always tell people is this, fine. Everyone can have their vices, their vices. Maybe they should have their vices, right? And what we do is then we just balance the rest of life with healthier things that helps to rebuild and restore our body. So for you, if you're not doing something like the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol, well, that's going to help you to get more of the nutrients back in your body. So as you're drinking the wine and you're depleting it, you start to rebuild. So that's my suggestion in a nutshell. I'm happier to give more information, but I have talked about how alcohol really does affect the liver and slows the detoxification process because it has to take over an alcohol and therefore creates more of an aging-based issue. Okay, James is up next. James is asking, hi, Dr. Cabral. I listened to all your podcasts and just ordered the 21-day detox. James, thank you for going back and listening to all of the podcasts. I can't recommend it enough. I really can't because it is a whole functional medicine education, I believe, over the past 827 episodes. Let's go on with James's question. I have many questions, but thought I'd stay with one for now. I've had several attacks for 15 years with diverticulosis. I take heavy dose of antibiotics for 10 days, drink only fluids, and it goes away. My attacks come once every year to year and a half. I do not want to have surgery just yet. I'm 60 years old, wondering if I can get my gut better and doing your detox a few times a year would help me from getting the attacks. I do not follow a healthy diet, but was thinking of going with plant-based type Mediterranean diet. Can you please let me know what I should do to prevent this for good? Please keep up the great work. You are touching and helping so many people. Be well, James. James, thank you so much. Appreciate that. I work with people with diverticulosis, diverticulitis, IBS, Crohn's, colitis, Candida overgrowth, SIBO, you name it, we work with it when it comes to digestion. We can help you with this for sure. Here's the deal. When someone has diverticulosis, diverticulitis, what we want to talk about is this. Let's do an autoimmune paleo-style diet to start. What do? We remove the grains, okay? We're also going to... James, let me give you some more specifics because this would be very specific to you. Let's say you and I, or you don't work with one of my health coaches or myself. I would run the organic acids test. That's number one. If you're able to, I would then order the stool test. And if you're able to do one more, I would order the food sensitivity test. Now we have a whole gut-based protocol. We can't ask for any more. We're testing for everything that's going on down in your gut that we can't see, right? It's hidden in that 28 feet of stuff that we can't see, but we know that we need to fix. Okay, once you run those, you'll see if you have any candida overgrowth, parasite overgrowth, H. pylori, bacterial overgrowth. If any of those things exist, we need to remove them. I've done many podcasts. I know that you've listened to them on how to do that. That is my recommendation. Okay, I would run those for sure. If you're not able to, well, then I would just do the candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. That's going to give your elimination plan right off the bat, and you're going to be on the autoimmune paleo-based protocol, but you get mine, which is much, much deeper. It's anti-inflammatory, it's glucose balancing, it also removes a lot of the fructo, oligo, di, mono, and polysaccharide foods. Now, you don't need to know what any of that means. It does it for you. You feeling great? Good. Then we ease things back in, but I'm telling you right now, you can overcome this. I know that you can. Those are your two options. Run the lab, get our personalized advice on a coaching call, which comes with every lab, or just begin a protocol for yourself. You can do this. I have no doubt about it, but we're going to do it step by step to make sure we heal that gut as well, right? We're definitely going to do that. All right, Zoe's up next. Zoe's writing in. Hi, Dr. Ball. I wondered if you can help me with some issues that my parents are suffering from. My mother has osteoarthritis, as diagnosed by a medical doctor. And I'm going to give everyone the highlights. But remember, you can go to stevencabral.com/827. Not only can you listen to the podcast on that page, but you can see all the links that I might be recommending to James and everyone else. And of course, I'll recommend some to Zoe. But also, you'll be able to read all of the questions in full. Okay, so she has limited mobility. She does do exercise, dancing, hill walking, suffers with pain. She's the type of personality that either wants to walk for miles on end or not bother doing it at all. Okay, so now let's look at my father has suffered quite significant digestive issues for the last few years. And since encountering emotional stress in the family, okay, he misses his defined purpose. He eats food rich in food late at night. Has acid reflux. And I would like any recommendations to give him as a test for belated Christmas presents. Sorry, we're making you, Zoe, wait until May. A general question, this is number 3. I wonder if you had any thoughts on myofascial lacrosse balls for releasing tension in the shoulders and ankles. And do you rate tissue salts? Finally, do you have any recommendations for strong CBD oils for the UK? All right, so a lot of questions in here. I'm going to be as concise as I can. I've done many shows on osteoarthritis. So again, all you have to do is type in at stevencabral.com/podcast and then type in osteoarthritis. Okay. Osteoarthritis is higher levels of stress or a lot of processed foods, essentially demineralizing the body. Alcohol, as we talked about earlier in the show, can demineralize the bones. Stress can create more of a fight or flight based situation, which not only can create more acidity in the blood, which the body then buffers with calcium from the bones or minerals in general. But also, calcium is used, a lot of people don't know this, with the autonomic nervous system to vasoconstrict the arteries. And as you're vasoconstricting the arteries, which allows you to get more fight or flight, you're pulling that calcium from the bones. So what I'd recommend for your mom is a thyroid hormone adrenal test. I would absolutely do that. And then I would also recommend a hair tissue mineral analysis to look at her overall bone strength. If she's unwilling to run any lab tests, well, then I'm going to recommend her reading the Rain Barrel Effect, of course, right? Get a little education there. She'll know why she needs to do these things and how she can age very, very gracefully and healthy and strong. I would also recommend for her then the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol. And the reason I do that, it's a simple breakfast that gives her all the nutrients that her bones desperately need. That's a good place to get started. Okay, she should also be doing weight-bearing activity 2 times a week, unless contraindicated by her doctor. 2 times a week, Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, whatever it might be. It can only be for 20, 30 minutes. Will allow her then to stop osteoporosis, osteoarthritis in its tracks. Osteoarthritis, different than its kind of cousin rheumatoid arthritis, is not autoimmune in the same way, but we can look also at inflammation. And I did a show on that last Friday on EPA and DHA that can help with the inflammatory process, and that would be increasing omega-3s in the diet. Okay. So again, if they can work, if they can run some labs, they'll get right on a call with the health coach and you'll get more specifics. Your father with digestive issues, unfortunately, none of this is going to change until he changes his diet, right? And he changes his stress. So I can't recommend enough just reading The Rain Barrel Effect. You heard on my mindset of, actually you won't. It's coming up this Monday. On the Mindset and Motivation Monday, I talk about the 9 toxic emotions that also cause stress on people as well. So for your dad, I can't recommend enough the 21-day Dr. Ball Detox while reading or right after reading The Rain Barrel Effect. I believe it can be very life-changing for your dad. I truly believe that. And if he wants, he can run an organic acids test as well as adrenal hormone test to look at his gut function and also the stress levels on his body. All right, so hopefully that's helpful. Your third question was myofascial release with lacrosse balls. We've been using lacrosse balls in my practice. I can literally tell you the date, since 2003. So yes, I believe in them. I'm a huge fan of all different types of myofascial release. For those of you who don't know what myofascial release is, basically you are using a lacrosse ball, foam roller, etc., to work knots out and tension out in the body. Now, I've done a whole video on this. So literally, you can just go to stephencabral.com/podcast and type in foam roll, just like that. FOAMROLL. I have a YouTube video that I released like 10 or 12 years ago on exactly how to do a lot of these foam rolling based exercises. CBD oil overseas. I'm sorry, I do not have any recommendations. Remember, I can't ship CBD overseas. I would love to. Well, I mean, why would I not, right? I would love to be able to do that, but I can't. It's a gray area right now, and legally, I don't know if we're supposed to or not, so I'm just trying to do it by the letter of the law. That's all. I wish I could. I really do. Maybe one day we'll be able to, because as you heard, if you listen to Friday's podcast on our Friday review last Friday, which was just yesterday, I believe, right? We came out with a version 3.0, or just version 3, which is going to blow people away. There is no better CBD oil in the market, hands down. It's organically grown. It is full spectrum. What's changed? Nothing's changed with the actual plant that it comes from. What's changed is the manufacturing process. Remember, things get better with nutritional supplements as time goes on because the extraction process gets better. That's it. Better technology. Now we're able to get more of the plant's essence inside of the CBD. Like, it's unbelievable. So we have a much broader spectrum of the plant essence, which just means it's a stronger, better product. It was already the best product on the market. Like, literally, you can make an argument that there were products as good as it, some of it, but there's no way there was a better product than it. Because remember, our job with Equilibrium Nutrition is never to create a product where there's already a product as good as it. We're only creating products where there isn't a product that to the level that I want. We do third-party testing, no mold, no bacteria, under 0.3 milligrams for THC, like the best of the best. And we're doing a little pop-up. This is for podcast listeners only, so you're part of that. You get $10 off while supplies last over the next couple days if you go to our website. I'll just link up CBD right in that. Why don't I do that? Literally, this is for podcast people only. I like to do fun things like this. Like, that's the thing. You know, your work should be fun. I love my work. I love doing fun things like this. From a business perspective, maybe it makes 0 sense, but I don't really care. I enjoy it. I have a lot of fun with it. And so we're already offer a great deal. It's now a stronger product. You probably have to use even less of a dosage, and it's the same price. But even during this pop-up, we're actually reduced the price just because I told my team that I want to. That's basically it. All right. Hopefully that helps. Zhang's up next. Zhang is asking, hi, Dr. Ball. In regards to food sensitivity tests you offer, should I avoid foods that come back as being highly sensitive for the rest of my life or for just a period of time? Okay, great question. And I know that you wrote this on February 16th, so it's quite some time ago. But on episode 809, check that out, episode 809, stephencabral.com/809. It says how to eliminate inflammation from food sensitivity reactions. And it tells you that when you run the food sensitivity test that we offer, and again, I'll link that up today at 827, you eliminate the foods that you're mildly sensitive to for 6 weeks, moderately sensitive to for 12 weeks, and then a major sensitivity for 6 months. And then what you do is you can retest then, if you choose to, in 12 or 16 weeks, see if you're still sensitive after you started to eliminate those foods, maybe repair the gut, if you're still sensitive to it. Now, some people may have an innate reaction to certain food sensitivities that they will need to eliminate for life. What most people need to do is clean up their gut, whether through the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol that we have, or maybe just doing the heal and seal that we have. It's called the gut rebuilding protocol, which is the daily probiotic support, and the healthy gut support, which is a powder, for 12 weeks. And once you do that, you seal back up that gut wall, and then the proteins from those foods are no longer seeping into the bloodstream, and you're no longer reacting to them, which means you're no longer highly sensitive to that food. So check that out. I did the whole episode on episode 809. Okay, how to eliminate inflammation from food sensitivity reactions. stephencabral.com/809 will have all of your answers right there. All right, Joe's up next. Joe will be our last question of the day. I'm a regular listener and appreciate what you're doing through your podcast. I'm completing your detox protocol with great results. In your daily nutritional support, you list the various percentages of each vitamin and mineral compares to the USDA minimum guidelines. Like you, I plan on using the daily nutritional support powder in my smoothies. I'm curious after looking at the label why you have B12 at 4,000%, B6 at 1,250, but at the same time, calcium and magnesium are respectively 5% and 13%. For instance, I've stopped consuming dairy and I find it hard to reach 100% of calcium through diet alone. Should I find other supplements for these minerals? Thanks for your feedback. All right, Joe, these are great questions, really great questions. Okay, so these are your answers because remember, I hand-picked all of the different, like literally to the microgram I picked. Okay, here's why. Most people are dramatically deficient in B12 and don't get it from their diet. And the USDA minimum is only so that you do not become diseased, right? But it's not for optimal living. So what I went by is orthomolecular and functional medicine levels for what's optimal for the body so that you didn't have to take an additional B12, an additional B6, or additional B vitamin for most people. So what I'm trying to do is make this your all-in-one powder. That's why I call it my Dr. Ball Daily Protocol. If you use the daily nutritional support, you get all the vitamins and minerals you need, even the B complex, right? And then if you use the daily fruit and vegetable blend, you get 22 organic fruits and vegetables. Simple, easy. And if you use the daily probiotic support, you get 50 billion healthy, live probiotics that I picked as well. So that's the deal. And then why is it a lower amount for the calcium magnesium? And that's because those are electrolytes, all right? Those are electrolytes that we all need them, but we should be getting them mainly through our food. Now, I will let you know in my practice, I do use oftentimes a calcium and magnesium supplement. I might use the CalMag Complete, or I might use the full spectrum magnesium for those people maybe with higher stress, higher anxiety, higher blood pressure, whatever it might be, right? And then I might use that specifically. And I run a hair tissue mineral analysis to calculate that. So I believe that most people can get their minerals, okay, and should get their minerals through things such as whether it's the daily fruit and vegetable blend, which is just juiced and dehydrated fruits and vegetables, all organic, and through their greens and through all of the other things that they may be eating. If you feel like you're not getting that, well, then yes, you would use the CalMag Complete for sure, right? But we don't always want to play with the electrolyte levels in our body too much because this is meant to be used as a supplement, right? Not as your food. So the supplement in my practice has to be used essentially for everybody. And that means that everyone uses this, gets the benefits, but I can't go too high in calcium if those people have, let's just say, a higher sympathetic nervous system dominance, they have higher blood pressure, they have more arterial-based constriction. For those people, I'd want maybe a little bit more magnesium and potassium. So do you see how that, from a functional medicine perspective, and using this in my practice, because that's why I formulated it for myself and for my practice, and then I wanted to give it to the world, that those levels would be a little bit lower. So hopefully that helps. And again, if you need more minerals, then I just recommend using, well, you can use obviously a broad spectrum mineral, but you might just need CalMag Complete, which a lot of people in my practice use for sure. So Joe, hopefully that answers your question. It was a great question. And again, I wanted this to be the all-in-one that includes everything that you need for the day, in addition to your healthy anti-inflammatory diet. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Great questions. And I look forward to being able to answer more tomorrow on our part 2 of the Cabral House Call. Take care. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.